Hello, and welcome back to Running Behind. I'm Joey Metzger, your host and head honcho of Slow Running. Okay, picture the scene. It's the finish line of the 2026 Cocodona 250 race. Everyone is cheering. Overall race winner Rachel Entrekin is there, and she is hugging my guest, Suzy Lurie. Okay, so did Suzy come in second or third? Well, not exactly. I mean, Suzy is known for setting a lot of FKTs, fastest known times. Isn't it ironic then that her claim to fame happens when she does her longest race ever and comes in last? But hey, coming in last will not diminish the energy, enthusiasm, and excitedness that is UltraSuzy. In this great conversation, we cover all of that, from how she got started to how she ended up running a 250-mile race in the Arizona desert. Oh, and we also talk about her complete infatuation with the Elm Creek Backyard and Afton 50K race. So, grab your Zegama 2s and your Anchor AirPods and head out for your run, because it's time to hit the trail.
Wait, I have to know some things about you. You come from North Dakota, is that right?
Yeah, how do you know this about me?
I don't know. Maybe I Googled you.
Did you? Uh-oh. You still want to do the podcast?
That's all I know. I wanted more. So you live here in the cities? Do you have kids?
No kids. My wife and I, we have dogs.
Nice.
Yep. No kids, just dogs. They're our kids. We treat them better than kids. My God.
Dogs are so special.
Dogs are and they're innocent. Suzy, we always are like, oh, dogs, they're better than people because they're innocent. They don't say stupid things and they just want to be loved. They don't really ask for much. So, yeah. So I grew up in North Dakota, but I've been down here since 91. So over half of my life, I've been down in the cities. I moved here to be, and we'll get into it. I don't know if you listen to any of the podcasts. I spill my guts every podcast, especially when I do the solo episodes. It's just me spilling my guts to the world, or my world of 65 listeners, by the way. But with you on here, we're going to get some more. But yeah, I moved down here in 91 to be a famous actor. Yeah, so you've probably seen me, on TV and movies, and you haven't, because that didn't work out. So I ended up getting a real job, and now I work in the corporate world. I'm director of facilities for a company here in town, and I do that kind of work. And yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my husband and I were both planning to be opera singers, and he is an opera singer, which is amazing. But yeah, we had big dreams. We were going to sing at the Met,
Oh my God, that's okay. We got to hear all about that. So you guys are singers. Your husband is an opera singer?
Yes, he's actually going to Fargo tomorrow night to sing a concert. And
oh my God, this is his career?
He does a lot of things. He's got a lot of funny side hustle, but yes, like this is what if he could be doing this all the time, that's what he would do.
Oh God. That is amazing. I did, as an actor, this would have been early 90s. I did one show with North Star Opera. I don't know. Are they even still around these days?
I think they are.
Yeah, they do a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan stuff. And there was a director in town, Julia Carey. She was from New York, very well-known director. She saw me in a play and she was like, honey, I got you. I'm going to cast you in everything. And she cast me in a couple things. Then she left town or decided I sucked. I don't remember. But one of them was an opera. And I sang a little bit. Mostly I was there to be this comedic character. They needed, comedy relief.
What was it?
Bradley Greenwald. Do you remember Bradley Greenwald? Does your husband know him? He was a well-known singer, opera singer. He did a lot of stuff with North Star Opera. Yeah, it was, what was it? It was called The Student Prince.
Oh, I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah. And I forget the character's name. He was like the funny comic relief character. That's what I do. I play silly characters. There's a Jerry
Springer opera, and then the Jerry Springer character doesn't sing. I think they need an actor for that. That seems like the kind of thing you could do.
You got me written all over it. Okay, so we are starting high, Suzy, my name is Joey. This is the Running Behind podcast. Did you have a chance to listen to any episodes?
Yes, and it's so...
You listened to the Amber Thielbar
I
one.
listened to Amber Thielbar because I wanted to listen to an episode of you interviewing another runner. And
Okay.
it was so relatable,
Yeah.
When kids in school, when they hear something they connect with, they make this gesture with their fingers where they make a little chain like connection. And I felt like I was doing that the whole time.
There you go. Well, I have in my notes here that I'm surprised we've not run into each other, and I bet we know a ton of people in common, so we're going to talk about that. So this podcast, Suzy, and I kind of explained a little bit, it's called Running Behind because I'm slow as shit, and I like to do trail races, but I walk half of them. I'm very slow. Years ago, there was a guy who I befriended, Ben Mead, who had a podcast called Chasing Cutoffs, which is what you were doing. And in fact, I'm going to ask if you've seen the movie The Cutoff, which Dylan and Drew filmed last year. So Ben and Tony, who are friends of mine, were in that last year. You would have seen Ben. But so he did this podcast, and then for life, changed, and he stopped doing it, and I was sad. And I reached out to him, and I'm like, well, I'm a, unemployed actor. I'm employed, but not as an actor. So I need all these creative outlets. I've got all this silly recording equipment for doing music years ago. Why don't I do a podcast? I like the sound of my own voice. So that's how this got started. And I like to talk to people that are, quote unquote normal people doing crazy things. Occasionally I'll get somebody like I've had Tim Tollefson on. You may have heard of that guy.
How do you know Tim? So cool.
I'm kind of buddies with Tim. Because of Mammoth Trail Fest. I went out there last year and actually reached out to him, and Suzy, he's one of these people that says yes. And in fact, his podcast, I don't remember what I called it, but it's all about saying yes for him. So I reached out to him. He's like, yes, I'll do your podcast. I said, I only have at that time like 53 listeners, and I'm up to about 65 or 70, but it's slowly growing. But he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Sure. And he was the best. Went out to Trail Fest and we chatted. We still stay in touch. We still ping him on Instagram. And I've actually started a campaign with a friend of mine for immigration and stuff like that. And Tim was like, hopped on board. He's like, I want to support. What can I do? So yeah, Tim's great, but mostly it's just normal people. It's people like you, but we're going to talk about you. So for my audience today, I'm going to spill the beans a little bit. Suzy just finished the Cocodona 250-mile race. And I don't want to spoil where she came in the race, but I'll give you a hint. Rachel Entrekin was at the finish line with her. So that's all I'm going to say. We'll get to there. So yeah, this is just a casual conversation talking about you, getting to know you for my audience. You are kind of a superstar now. Do you know that? Has your life changed? Have you gotten lots of media requests? How many podcasts have you done?
This is my first podcast.
Oh God. God.
I'm not on Instagram, so I think there might be things going on that I don't know about. But it's felt really, really good. It's felt amazing.
Yeah. I think we're going to talk probably 75% of this is going to be about your Cocodona race, because I wrote down a ton of stuff, and I interviewed last year Tony Gillum. He finished like you. He wasn't dead last, but he was, they followed him in the film because he was chasing the cutoff the entire time. Ben Mead was pacing him. I was texting him every day. Ben was like, you got to text him. You got to call him. He's falling asleep. There's no pacers on this section. So I can't wait to hear all of your little stories, your hallucinations, if you had any, all that great stuff. But let's start with you. Did you grow up in Minnesota? Are you like a lifelong Minnesota person?
I grew up in Chicago. Grew up in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And I've lived here, this must be about 8 years. And I would really like to call myself a Minnesotan if that's allowed, because I love it here. I think I was meant to be here.
If you love it here, you are a Minnesotan. Yeah. So you moved here for work, or for your husband's work, for opera?
My husband and I were tooling around. We were living here, there, and everywhere while he was doing gigs, and I was sort of like the opera wife, and I was like working in retail stores and doing whatever. And we're having a grand old time. But we had our children when we were living in San Jose. And when his contract ended there, we were sort of like, oh, what should we do? And he was like, I don't know. Should we move back to Minnesota? And I was like, probably. And then here we are. And it's like, it's a wonderland here.
It is really nice. My wife and I, she's from Wisconsin, just next door. I'm from Dakota, just next door. We met in Minnesota. This is our second marriage. We both were married early on in our lives. You know how that is. And when we met later in life, and it was like, okay, now I'm mature enough to actually, handle this. And but we've both been here like 30 years and just love it. We love traveling, and we've talked about East Coast, West Coast, and it's all great, but man, there's something really nice about Minnesota. Do you guys have family here besides
my husband's family is all here?
Okay.
And because he's a little bit blasé because he grew up here. When we went to Duluth for the first time, I lost my shit. I was like, look, it's magical.
It's the ocean, right? Yeah.
And I didn't understand, I did not understand the Superior hiking trail. I didn't understand anything. So it's been amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. So did you you both go to school for opera then?
We did.
Is that what you went to school for?
We started dating we met in the opera we were doing together, and it was like a showmance, but then we got married. So
where's opera school? When I grew up in Minot, North Dakota, Kyla Krebsbaugh, I cannot tell you why I remember her name. I went to high school with her, and we used to hang out, and she left to go to opera school, and she's probably older than you guys, but it was someplace weird. I don't know if it was Illinois, or where did you go to school for opera?
We went to
opera school.
Northwestern University in Chicago.
Okay.
But yeah, I think a lot of people from Minnesota go to Luther College. That's like a big opera school in Iowa.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a thing. We got together.
Opera school. So cool. So when you graduated, did you get jobs, as obviously your husband did and still is? Did you get jobs? I want to know what okay, this is the other thing you should know. This frickin' podcast, sometimes we talk running and sometimes we talk something completely not running. Last night I was interviewing Heather Vinge Hansen, who lives here and she does a lot of running. And we got off on Schitt's Creek and all kinds of stuff. So how do you get gigs? I mean, did you get gigs? How do you do that?
I got one professional gig out of school. I had a bad attitude. I wasn't cut out for it, truly. And I was terrible. But
was that it then? Were you just like, okay, I'm getting a real job?
Good. I studied really hard. I was a good little student, but I just didn't have my husband is such a good colleague. Everybody loves him. They always want to have him back. And I was kind of bitchy and ridiculous. And so it wasn't meant to be for me, but it's great for him. And I still use my musical skills for some stuff I do at work. So it's fine. But yeah, awesome. I think it all worked out.
And here's the thing, guys, about the performing arts. When you graduate, there's no guarantee for a job. It's not like getting a job in engineering or data science or something, or economics, where you get out and it's like you have your pick of companies. As a performer, opera singer, or an actor, it's literally like every month you're finding a new job, and it's 90% rejection. At least it was for me. But yeah, I know a few people, friends of mine, that started with me that made it, but very few. Mo Collins, a couple other folks, T.R. Knight, who was on Grey's Anatomy. T.R. Knight and I've told the story before. When I moved here, he moved here at the same time. We were the same height. We both did comedic characters. He was obviously a little bit better than me because we went to every audition, every callback. It came down to me and him. And 9 times out of 10, he got all the jobs. And then he ends up on Grey's Anatomy, and I, worked at Sawati Thai restaurant. So that's how that goes. Okay, enough about me. So you're doing the opera thing. Okay, let's talk about. I like to know people's history as a youth with athletics. People that now later in life are running and trail running. Did you do athletics as a kid? I did not. Did you?
No. I made notes
No.
about this so I would remember to tell you.
Great. Wonderful.
Not sporty. Not sporty. Choir girl.
What did you do?
I did like a little dance, a little singing, a little theater, whatever. But I did have this like strange desire to go very far on whatever thing I was doing. Like, I'm just going to walk. I'm going to walk as far away from here as I can. Or like it, I had rollerblades. And one time I decided I was going to rollerblade from my college campus to my mom and dad's house, which was like 10 miles. And I walked that also. So there were some indicators that I wanted to do something like this, but I had no idea how to focus that. And I only noticed these things in much older age. I was like, God, that was weird that I wanted to like figure out how to ride my bike up and over the highway to get somewhere else. Like, what was I doing? Just getting ready for ultra running.
You were getting ready for ultra running. So no athletics through elementary school, high school, college?
No team, no nothing.
Nope. No, nothing. When do you start running? When do you go, I'm going to do some running? And I pulled up your ultra sign up, so I know some of your history of ultra marathons. We're going to talk Elm Creek Backyard because you were there when my buddies Eric and Mario were there in 2024.
Yes, and Eric, he was the crew person, right?
Yes.
I met Eric.
He's the one that told me about you.
I met him.
He was like, I know her. You need to get a hold of her. I'm like, what? Sure.
We had such a nice talk, and we were running the thing, and everybody was always waiting for us. And I finally looked at him and I was like, how slow are we going? We were going slow. But, we had a great talk. And then I didn't see him again for a really long time, but just on Strava. So definitely he's been around.
That's funny. So how did you get to there from being a kid that was, just going on little walks and doing your theater and your singing? How did you get to running? And then
I had a few little fits and starts. And I had a friend from Albert Lee, Minnesota. I have a friend, and she was a trail runner, and I'm like, God, that's so cool. I could never do that. Whatever. I'm not a runner. I wish I could be though. And eventually during the pandemic, I just needed to run away from my kids and get away. I was just like, I'm just going to run outside a little bit, and I'll see if maybe in a couple months I can run a 5K distance. And so I did that. And I made my family drive the car out to the 1.5 mile point so they could cheer for me when I left, cheer for me when I was halfway, and then go home so you can cheer for me when I finish. And that happened, and then things escalated. I kept saying I have no interest in running for more than an hour. It escalated pretty fast. It just needed to keep going.
It's funny because some people, it's like I was with Heather last night that I was talking to. She was running as a kid, and then she gave it up for 15 years, and then she came back to it. Some people pick it up, and within 2 years they're doing 100-mile races. Was it like that for you, or how quickly did this escalate? You started in 2020, 2021?
Yeah, and then I had to. I was trying to train for a marathon. I was trying to train for Mankato Marathon because Twin Cities was too scary. Couldn't sign up for that. But I decided I was going to do Mankato. And then there was the Trail Mix 50K, which is a race that, that happens every year. And there was a 25K option and a 50K option, but I signed up for the 50K option because I had work or something. And I was like, I'll just do the best I can. And it was
time out. Had you done a marathon, or what was the longest distance you've done before then?
It's probably 16 miles or something.
Oh God. And you signed up for a 50-kilometer race.
I didn't think I was going to finish. I just was going to go try to do something. And I did not understand what a trail race was. I thought it was going to be on paved regional trails. So I got out there and I was like, what is happening to me right now? Why are there so many hills? Why am I going so much slower than I thought I was going to go? And I didn't know what to eat or what to do. So eventually at 18 miles, I was like, I'm so tired. I must be done. And really, if I had just eaten some food and kept going, I probably could have finished that race. But I just, after I did Mankato Marathon, I was like, good God, I'm a trail runner. What am I doing? I need to get back to that. And I figured out that right by my house, there are beautiful trails inside French Park that I didn't know were there.
Yeah.
And the excitement with which I approached these trails was nuts. I made my family go walk around with me a little bit the day before, my first real trail run. And we scoped it out. And now it's my soul lives in French Park, and I train there.
It's where you ground yourself. So I know for me, I've always loved like hiking and being outside and exploring areas. I love trees. I love water. I love mountains. To me, running on the trails, it's great for several reasons. Number one, I can walk and nobody laughs at me because, hey, you know, it might be a hill here. I can walk. I can enjoy things. I can take my time and feel no pressure. What was it like for you when you got on the trail? Was it some of those types of things or just the, you know, it was easier on your knees, just the scenery? What really drew you to the trails?
It just felt like adventure, like felt really exciting. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what would happen if I go off on this little single track? I don't know what's up there. And,
Yeah.
you know, oh, but these hills are so huge. Like the first time I went to Afton, I felt like I was in a fishbowl. We did so many silly things. Like when I eventually signed up for the Afton 50K, I was very intimidated. I took my little daughter with me to see what the meat grinder was. It was like such an adventure. I was like, Brookie, we're going to drive far away and we're going to look for the meat grinder. And she was like, okay. And we found it. And they were like by the yurt tents. Oh my God. Just the littlest thing is so fun to do with a little child who doesn't, you know, we went down the meat grinder and then I had to carry her up the meat grinder and I did it. And that was great. I'll always remember that.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at your ultra sign up. You have done Afton Trail 50K, which, by the way, folks, Eric and I did it last year. We did the 25K. I nearly had heat stroke. You did it and you got through. I probably took as long to do one lap as you did too.
It was so hard last year.
It was so miserable. Hard. It was just so humid. It was started out pouring rain, so it was sloppy wet. Your shoes were getting sucked into the mud. And then after it stopped raining, then it was just this layer of humidity that I couldn't even breathe.
When we stopped, I was like chatting with some other runners, just like the sweat would not stop pouring off us. It was so humid.
Yeah. How did you find out about like Afton and Elm Creek? Did you just find websites, just do, you know, internet search to find these trail races, or did you have friends that tell you about them? How did you discover them?
I think I'd had some kind of a fascination with the rock steady running, doing the Moose Mountain Marathon, which I never got to do, which I haven't done yet. But I didn't get into that in the lottery because I hadn't done any volunteering. I wasn't, you know, I was totally new. But there were other races in rock steady running, and Afton seemed so scary and hard that I just needed to go try.
Yeah. And it is, folks. It's scary and hard. Elm Creek Backyard, you did that before you did Afton. How did you hear about Backyard Ultras?
So I immediately became a huge fan of trail running, like taking in hours and hours and hours of content. So I knew all about Backyard Ultras. And
what content are you watching?
I started out watching Sage Canaday on YouTube. And, and I saw him at Javelina this year and I spoke to him. I hollered at him.
You did?
I talk to everybody. I can't help it. But I was like, Sage, oh my God, can I get a picture with you? And your content was so informative for me as a beginning runner. But, you know, it's a rabbit hole. And then when you're running, you have more time to listen to stuff while you're running. Yeah. So it's just real obsessive. I need to know everything. And I was like, oh, there's a Backyard Ultra in my neighborhood. I have to do that. Like, I wasn't super interested. Like, I didn't think I wouldn't have wanted to do it if it wasn't just like right there. And you have to try it. It was epic and the weather was crazy. And I got hypothermia at the end and we still talk about it.
That was, you've done it like every year, 22, 23, 24, 25. I'm looking at your mileage, folks. She went up in mileage every year. She did at least one or two more laps. First year, 37 miles. Crazy. And then you do 50 miles. And then when Mario was there, you did 58. I think he did 54. So he must have finished one lap before you. And then you did 75 last year.
That felt amazing.
Oh my God. That's crazy. I'm too slow, Suzy. I could probably get the first one done. And then I'm just like, it's just not my speed. It's not what I'm good at. So
it's a real struggle. Like I want to do so much more in that race, but I might be too slow. Like, I don't know what to do about it, but I desire to do more there.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I just have a lot of admiration for people who excel at that. So let's go back to your first. So you start getting into the trails, listening to content. What's the first? Do you watch like YouTube movies? That's how I got into this. I had two reasons. I was on an iFit treadmill, and on the iFit program, there's videos of instructors who are like out on trails running, and you're on the treadmill, and I'm like, holy cow! I had no. They allow you to run on trails outside. I didn't even know that was legal. So I found that way. And then I got onto YouTube and I discovered Ethan Newberry, the Runner podcast,
Yep.
Billy Yang's movies,
Yep.
who, by the way, Suzy, I met him last year at Trail Fest.
How cool.
I was at the opening talk and Tim was going and he had these great dancers. And behind me is Billy Yang and his wife, Hillary. And he's like 5 feet behind me. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally want to fan out. I said, I want to be respectful. So I waited till the whole opening ceremony was done. I turned around, he was still there. And I went over and I said, hi, do you mind if I say hi? And I started talking to him. And then I started crying. Because I was trying to tell him that he was the reason I was there. He was a huge reason. His movie, like the one with Sally McRae and all that stuff, I was just like, this is why I'm here. This is what inspired me. And I started crying. And he's like, can I give you a hug? And I'm like, I've died and gone to heaven. This is amazing. He's so nice. That's the other thing about these people is that they are so flippin' nice. All of them.
I'm not surprised.
So Billy, you watch the Billy Yang movies, the
Absolutely.
Ethan, the Ginger Runner movies.
I listen to Ginger Runner. And it's funny because like they don't make podcasts anymore. And I miss them.
Yeah, I know.
But Billy Yang's got a lot going on.
He does. And his wife, Hillary, my friend Julie volunteered at the Mammoth 200 last year, and she's going back. And so she got to hang. She knows Tim pretty well, too, and got to hang with Hillary and Billy and all those guys. I'm so jealous. But yeah, so we watched a lot of the same content, and that got you fired up. Mm-hmm. So you start doing, I mean, you just started off with a bang. You didn't start off with 10 milers, and you started off 50Ks, backyard ultras, 50 milers right away.
I just spent so much time training on my own that I was like, if we're going to race, we're going to go big.
Yeah. And so you do the backyard, but you keep coming back. What appeals to you about that? Just like the quest to get farther, or is it just you like the format? What appeals so much to you about
madness out there? It's madness out there. It's incredible. That event started out tiny, and now it's huge.
It's huge.
And I had to force myself to stay away this year because it was so close to Cocodona. Mm-hmm. And I went through all these eventualities. I was like, maybe I should go volunteer. That would be good. But no, maybe I should go run like 3-4 loops, and then I'll go home. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. And finally, it was like my gut was like, you must stay home. You must stay home. You can't go anywhere near that. And I think that was the right choice. But I was messaging everybody on Strava. I was like, I have so much FOMO. It's so much FOMO. Have an amazing time. And yeah, it was, I think it was the right call, but I'll definitely be back there next year because I love it.
I think people either love it or I don't want to say hate it. I don't hate it. But people that love it so much. Friend of mine, Joe Harden, he's just like you. Mario, I think he wants to go back. Eric and I are like, it's just, I don't know. I'm just not fast enough. I always tell people in my 60s, that's going to be my speed decade in my 60s. Cause I'm going to, stop eating so much and drinking beer and bourbon, and I'm going to be really fast. So
what are we supposed to do?
60s.
We're supposed to run strides, I guess. That's the one thing I can't get myself to do. I do everything up and down the hill a million times, but I'm like, strides, I don't know.
So around 2022, 2023, you start doing a lot of trail races, backyard ultras. At what point, Suzy, when do you go, I want to go 100K, 100 kilometers, 100 miles, I want to go 254 miles. At what point do you decide I have to keep going farther and farther and farther? How does that happen?
Well, Superior 100 was and is the dream. I signed up for Superior 100 in 2024, And I was like so scared. I think I almost barfed at the start line. It was just so huge. And I worked so hard for that. I went up there and trained. I went up there alone and I did huge days up there. And
wait, in 2024, you did the Superior 100?
I did not.
It doesn't show up here.
I don't know why it's not there.
Oh, you know why?
Why?
Do you know John Storkamp, the race director?
Yeah.
If you, and this is actually super sweet, if you don't finish his race, you don't get a DNF. He just doesn't list you.
That tracks.
And that's kind of his tradition. I mean, at first time I was like, what? I was like, no, that's a super sweet thing he does. So then you don't have to see a DNF. So you attempted it in 2024. Let's talk about that. You trained for it. And what happened?
I would get up in the night and drive like 4 or 5 hours up north. And I had that little taxi thing take me from my end point to the start point. And I just like trekked through that stuff. And it was exciting. Like, you know, there was not a soul out there. I don't know. It's just, I love it. But I reconnected with my great friend, Danielle, who I met in San Jose when we were both new moms. She lives in Arizona now. And she's part of the reason why we started doing Aravipa races. But she actually flew to Arizona, or she flew to Minnesota to help me with Superior 100. And we were both, she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just try and do this. And we did everything we could, but somewhere around Kramer Road, I just knew I wasn't going to make the next cutoff. And so we like headed out, we left Kramer Road. And after a while, I was just moving at the slowest pace you could possibly imagine. And I was like, Danielle, we're not going to make it. We're going to be out here for hours. Let's just go back and get a burger. And she was like, okay. So
how many miles in is Kramer Road, Suzy?
So
I don't know that course as well.
75-ish. And we had gone out a little further. And then we turned around and came back. So that was the farthest distance I ever had gone, about 75, 80 miles.
And that course is so hard. I've interviewed, well, you heard Amber's interview. Amber she's no back of the packer either.
Yeah.
She is, an elite. I call her like a local elite runner because she's so fast. But if you have one problem, if you have one injury, or if you're just not in perfect, condition and ready, and the trail isn't perfect, you're not going to make it. 36, what is it? 36, 38 hours?
38 hours. Everybody who'd been smart and been pacing it super smart passed me. Like every single person passed me. And I was just like, oh, all is lost.
Did you start too fast?
I just think I didn't have the strength to see it through at that time. So what I said was, I respect this race so much. I'm not even going to try it again for 3 years, which is still what I'm planning on. So I'll try again in 2027. I think I can do it now maybe. But I was like, I'm going to do 100 Ks, blah, blah, blah. Danielle convinces me from Arizona that we should sign up for Javelina 100K. And I was like, oh, hells yeah, that'll be the party. That'll be so fun. And it was. I went in October. It was freaking amazing. We had the best time ever. And then but even before we had run the race, actually, she said, listen, I think Cocodona is going to go lottery. And I just feel like before it does, we should try to sign up.
Wait a minute. This is 2025, right? Mm-hmm. So you've attempted one 100-mile race, Superior 100. That's the longest distance you've gone. You go over 75 miles. And then she convinces you to sign up for, is it the next year, for Javelina 100. And some point that year, she's the one that brings up Cocodona 250. Was that a race you were thinking about?
I never thought I could do this. It was not even a pipe dream.
But she was thinking about doing it.
Yeah, because she's an animal. And, what was happening, and she didn't know that nobody knew this, but for a moment, my husband had cancer and he ended up having surgery and being completely fine, which is, great. Yeah. We were so lucky. Yeah. But it was a moment of like total chaos in my house, but we were keeping it really to ourselves. Like our kids didn't know, and we were just trying to get it figured out so that he could get what he needed and get better. And then this little idea in my head, everything is going to be fine. And in a year you could go do Cocodona. YOLO, like we must do this. And so we signed up.
So you signed up for it. You and her both.
Yes, and her story was long and complicated. She was on the wait list for a while, and she would have gotten in. She did get off the wait list, but she had too much life stuff going on to train, and so she became my crew and pacer and my everything at this race.
Okay. So I have notes to ask you about crew and pacer. We're gonna talk Cocodona here in just a second. Okay, let me go to my notes here. So my questions was, when did you decide? You just said. So she told you about it. Did you know anything about the race when you signed up for it? Yeah, you're a trail running nerd. You know all about it.
Yes, I knew all about it, and I just couldn't. It was like silliness. It's like, how can a regular person like me sign up for this race? But there is no barrier there. You can just, you could just sign up.
Yeah, you got the money. You can sign. Well, this year now it's lottery, but didn't you like? I think if it was me, I'd be like, okay, I cannot finish a 100-mile race, so let's see, what's my next step? 250 odd miles, right? Isn't there something missing there? How do we?
Definitely, I just couldn't spend too much time fixating on that. The registration was done, it was happening, and all I could do was get ready for it. And so that's what I focused on.
And you two are going to do it together, and she ends up not being able to do it, so she becomes your crew. All right, let's talk Cocodona. We're 35 minutes in here. I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to talk a lot of Cocodona. So now we know how you got to Cocodona. Your friend Danielle, who lives in Arizona, you guys sign up together. You both end up getting in. She ends up not doing it. You end up doing it. I will tell you, I was supposed to be there this year, not running it, but my friend Ben Mead, who had the podcast, when I was visiting him last fall, and he got in, and he was going to do it, and I was going to pace and crew him. So I was like, I can't do it myself. I don't think I cannot do what you just did. But I could pace and crew, and I'll be there for him. And I'm like, hey, dude, especially the slow sections, get your fast buddies for the first half. Once you get to like Sedona, when you're mostly just walking, I'm your guy. I got you. But he got injured and he couldn't do it. So I pivoted, and I'm actually going only to Western states this year. So yeah, I'm not running it, but my friend Neeraj, who I interviewed, you'll have to listen to that podcast episode. He was the guy last year who was the first finisher after the cutoff.
I was just reading about this. It's incredible. Yes. So he got to go again.
Go listen to my pod when we're done. Find my podcast with Neeraj. I think it's called Here for the Immigrants. And I Run Far did a great story on him. And that's how I got, Mandy Hansel pointed him out to me and contacted him. We've since become very good friends. In fact, I talked to him on the phone tonight on my way home from work. So he got the ticket to go back. He is training like a madman. He has, have you ever heard of Jim Walmsley?
Yes.
Yeah, he has his coach. His former coach, James Bonnet, is coaching him. So I get to pace him the last 6 mials to the finish line.
Incredible.
I'm his final pacer. I'm like, I hope to hell he's slow by then, because he's pretty fast. He's going to do it. And then we're also doing this, and I can tell you more about that. We're doing this whole campaign we came up with. He's an immigrant, so we're doing kind of this immigration advocacy campaign, and we're kind of promoting that. But yeah, I'm super excited to be out there, to experience it, to help crew him, get him across that finish line. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Western States. So that's
amazing.
Once I had to pivot. Once I couldn't do Cocodona, I'm like, what can I do? Well, guess I can go to Western States.
Yes.
So you're training. Let's talk about your training for Cocodona. Once you sign up for it, do you get a coach? How do you change your training? How do you figure out your training blocks, your training plan? What do you do?
I'm looking at my notes so I can tell you. Okay. After Javelina 100K, I felt really good about that one. And also Danielle had impressed upon me a lot about pacing and negative splits, because she's so smart. And we took it really easy in the first half of that race. And then she turned me loose, and I was able to finish really strong. That was good for my brain to understand.
I'm looking at you're talking about the Javelina 100. in Javelina 100, whatever they call it, in October 2025. You did the 100K. Guys, she finished under 18 hours, which I think is insanely fast.
Yeah.
Amazing. So she's the one that kind of coached you through that. Did she do the race too?
She did the race too, but we parted ways in the middle, and she finished. That girl didn't train for that. She just did it, and it was amazing. I took a little nap at the finish line when I was waiting for her to come in. I was in the comfy chair. It was like a dream. Andy Glaze rolls in, and I was like, woo woo, and Andy Jones Wilkins crosses the finish line, and I'm like, yeah, JW. And then his tent is right next to my tent, so I'm hearing him talk to his wife, and it's just like he was on the podcast. He was like, Shelly, I'm going to tell you something I think you're going to be happy about. I'm not doing this race again next year. And I was like, what's happening to me right now? It's like being inside the internet. Yeah. He was so nice. I got a picture with him too. But
awesome.
A couple weeks after Javelina, I'd had this obsession with doing the entire loose line from Plymouth to Cosmos, the loose line state trail.
Yeah, so I've heard of it. Okay? How many miles are we talking about?
It's about 66 miles, and there's a woman who already had the FKT, but she was supported. So I was like, all right, I must do this self-supported. I must do a different mode. And so that's what finally got me to buy the high capacity pack that I knew I needed for Cocodona, the Solomon 15-liter pack, the big bladder. I would never had used a bladder before. This was all time to make a shift. And I set out in the nighttime at 10 p.m. I drank a Red Bull and was like, goodbye, kids. I'll be back tomorrow. And I went. Oh my God. I went through the night. It was scary. I saw animal eyes. There was an owl. The first gas station I was supposed to be able to access was closed. So I ended up doing 40 miles before I could, resupply, which was, I had enough stuff, but it was drama. And then
you did 40 miles before you resupplied? How long did that take you?
So much food. I don't know. I was doing 14 or so minute miles, and the thing was really heavy, and we just had to keep going. So eventually I rolled into Cosmos, and I was delighted, and my husband picked me up.
So do you have the FKT on the Lucy line?
You need to look up my FKTs if you didn't look that up. I have so many FKTs.
You do not. Oh my God. I was trying to, because you're not on social media. So I found you on Strava. I was grateful for that. Otherwise, you're not on social media. So I was like, how am I going to find this person? Yeah, there's nothing. I didn't think to check FKTs. I'm going to be looking later tonight.
I have a lot of the slowest, fastest known times you could possibly imagine all over this area and a few other places.
I love it. That is so cool. So that's your big training thing. And what month are you doing that in?
That was still early in the process. That was November.
Okay.
And I got in touch with my good buddy and fellow finisher, Kate Leese from Delano, Minnesota. And she trained me at Sunrise Fitness in the weightlifting, which I was really a big weenie about. And I was like, oh, Kate, how can I lift this kettlebell? What am I doing? But now I'm going to go lift weights tomorrow. I can't wait. But Vertmas was huge. You heard of this? Vertmas through Aravaipa.
No.
In the month of December, you accumulate as much vert as you possibly can, and it's a contest. So this was another thing Danielle was sign up for Vertmas, and I was like, okay. Every day in December, I was at the gym. Stair climber, the treadmill cranked up to 15. And I was like, just how many thousands of feet of vert can I do in this day? And I made the podium on that one. Felt so good.
You did not.
I was
how many feet of vert did you get in? Is it December?
I think it was 115,000-ish.
In 1 month. Oh my God.
And I was also watching the fabulous show Heated Rivalry at that same time. So I would have Heated Rivalry on at the gym, and I would be looking over my shoulder. I'm like, ooh, who's watching me watch Heated Rivalry? And I don't care.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh my God. Awesome.
That was a good one. Then the thing, Kate Leese was a very positive influence, and she was like, we must sign up for Zumbro 50. That is the stimulus that we need a month before the race. And I said, okay. So I had done 100+ mile week, like 2 weeks before that. I was tired, like so tired. And I got up early the morning of Zumbro, did like my whole life, drank a Red Bull, drove out there, started the race at midnight, and it was hard.
Oh, that's right. The 50 starts at midnight.
And you were there this year, right?
I was not there this year. I was there last year.
Okay.
Attempted the 34 mile. My knee literally blew up, like blood vessels burst all throughout my knee and leg.
Terrible.
After right at the end of one lap, I was like, well, I guess I'm done. So it starts at midnight and you have to do 3 laps. Had you done Zumbro before? What do you tell me?
I was excited because there's like mystery and sort of like a vibe around that one. Like it's a little spooky. Yeah. And I had my poles, and I had obsessed for weeks and months about my quiver and my poles, and everything was the way I wanted it finally. But I'd never really done too much with the poles. So I was watching people and I would like mimic their style. And I felt like that race really helped me get comfortable to the point where like at Cocodona, I was like, these poles are great. I got this.
Yeah. So what did you think of Zumbro? I had a tough, I kind of want to go back. I almost went back this year, but it's tough. I call it the pit of despair, the sand coulee. Oh God. Jason Reeve and I talked about that. It's just, and to do it 3 times, he did it 6 times because he did the 100-miler down there.
I don't know if I could do it 6 times. I don't know.
I don't know. No. If I'm doing a 100-mile race, it is not going to be Zumbro. No. I think 50 miles is quite the accomplishment. So you do 50 miles in April, 1 month before Cocodona.
Yep. And I was, do you know Montana Precker? He's a big backyard ultra guy. He and his wife are amazing. They're both big backyard ultra. He's doing Western States this year. We got a lot of excitement in Minnesota right now. But she just looked at me and he was like, "You've been doing your heat training?" And I was like, "Not really. Oh, not really." And he goes, "It's not too late." And he told me exactly what gym to go to, and he told me what to do. And I would go to that gym in Maple Grove. I would go do stair climber for a while and then sit in the sauna and listen to podcasts.
Really? How long do you sit? I've heard of that. Of course, for Western States and stuff, they do the heat training. Yeah. How long do you sit in the sauna after you do?
I did 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And I sweat so much.
Okay. Did it help?
I don't know, because the weather was so amazing. It was like miracle weather. So it must have helped. I don't see how it could have not helped. But finally, in the last week or 2 before the race, I was getting angsty about blowing up my quads if I didn't do something to get like a training stimulus. And I couldn't do my usual Highland because the ski hill wasn't open yet.
Do you do the ski hill at which one? At Highland? That's what I do. My true
obsession.
I'm like, it's the one trail and hill that's like 10 minutes from my house. I'm South Minneapolis, so that's where I go.
So I couldn't do that, though. I love it so much, and I actually have to go there as soon as possible. But also RTA, there was like stuff going on in RTA, and I didn't want to get yelled at by the people doing work there, and I didn't want to waste the time driving out there if it was going to go poorly. So eventually I found that segment inside Highland called Smeagol's Revenge. It goes up to the back of the ski hill, like when you get to the
back
top
of the ski jump.
No, yes. The back of the ski hill. It approaches the tippy top of the ski hill where you turn around.
Oh, I'm sure I've done that. I've done all the trails around there. I'm sure I've done that. So.
It's like 137 feet of elevation gain in 0.07 miles. So I was like, this is the hill. And I went up and down that hill quite a few times with 6 leaders in the pack. And then I was like, this is it. This is it. So I've done all I can do.
So your training plan, did you write all this down? Did you have like, I need to get this many miles in, I need to get this much vert in, or was it just more, or it sounds like it was a little more organic.
Yeah.
Where you were just like, I need to kick ass this week, and I'm going to try this month. And
I get like bursts of inspiration where I feel just like I know what I need to do. So on the week when I ran up and over 100 miles, I was like, this is the week. This is the week where we're going to run 100+ miles. It's happening this week. And I was able to do that. And
how do you, I'm really kind of anxious. My wife's a little bit younger than me. I'm like, honey, I'm going to retire and you're going to keep working and then I can concentrate on getting faster at trail running. How did you find the time? You have kids, you have a family. How do you find I hear about people running 100-mile weeks and I'm like, and Eric and I talk about this all the time. If you're fast, if you're an elite runner, 100-mile weeks, they're hard, but they're not as hard if you run only, half that speed. So like for me, 100-mile week would take, this is 25 hours,
Yeah,
20
it
hours.
was like a full-time job that week.
Oh God.
I'm lucky in my work schedule where I'm able to log a lot of hours on the weekends. It's where I work.
Okay.
We have events and classes on the weekend. So I'm there a
Okay.
lot. And then some of my work is done at night on the computer. And so when my kids are at school, blessedly, I can, like, sometimes there's a whole day where I'm like, I could run for 6 hours today. I'm going to run the whole time they're at school. Or because I have one meeting in the morning and one later in the afternoon, I can get out for 2 hours now and then such and such later. Like you can piece it together. I can piece it together.
Wow. So you got, how many weeks did you run 100 miles? Just the one?
Just the one.
Oh God. But you're building strength. You're getting your vert in. You got 100-mile week. So you're getting close to Cocodona. How are you feeling? Do you have like a spreadsheet? Do you have it all mapped out where you're like, for me, when I look at a race, Suzy, the first thing I do is what's the cutoff? What's the pace I need to run? Where are the aid stations? Is there any that I need to go faster? Because it's all about chasing cutoffs for me. So that's what I'm looking at. Did you do that? Were you like, I know the speed I can go, I'm not worried about it? Or were you like, this is going to be hard and I got to map this out?
I felt like I had no idea of how hard it was going to be. I just needed to have like a plan so that I could deviate when needed. So I sat down and I made like a vibes-based plan that had me finishing like Friday afternoon, which was never going to happen. But it enabled me to, like, I was able to stay on that timeline for 100 miles. And so looking at the second 150 miles, I had a cushion that then I was able to slowly lose over the course of the rest of the race.
Okay.
It wasn't a great plan. What I really didn't understand was the rocky terrain and how slow that was going to cause me to go in some sections. So I was looking at elevation loss and gain, but I wasn't reading the thing where I was like, this is all rocks. This is all rocks. And, at that point in the race, I was like, wow, this cushion is diminishing and we just got to keep pushing forward. I started cutting my aid station stops a little bit and I didn't sleep very much.
Okay. So did you talk to anybody who had done the race before you did it? So you didn't know the course. You didn't have firsthand knowledge of the course from somebody who'd done it, right?
Right. Because they talk so much about the section into Crown King. Like I understood that was going to be a lot of climbing. And I didn't even know. I thought maybe I would DNF before Crown King. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just knew that we were going. We were going to try.
So your crew is, who's all in your crew? Is it just
Danielle.
Your friend from her? Just Danielle. Is she pacing you and crewing you?
She's incredible.
What's the plan?
She was like, I'll see you at Crown King. I'll see you at Whiskey Row. And then we're going to run together for 100 miles. And I said, okay. And she was working so hard for me. I just can't. I'll never be able to repay her for what she did. But at a certain point, we were all getting that like Cocodona illness. And she was like, I'm getting sick. I think I'm actually getting sick. And we didn't know that we were all getting that. And it wasn't really an illness. It was just the horribleness. But at Dead Horse, she found another person from Minnesota, Elizabeth Osers.
Elizabeth, we're gonna talk about her. I wrote down questions about her. She found me on Strava. We're Strava friends now. Okay, let's talk about getting up to that point of meeting Elizabeth.
Okay.
So did Danielle pace you at all then from Whiskey Row or no?
All the way to Dead Horse.
She paced you all the way to Dead Horse. So you said the first half of the race was pretty good. You were kind of on schedule. Where did you start losing time? Was it,
It was
Mingus Mountain?
Mingus Mountain.
Was it the climb up? I've heard the climb down is the really kind of
I didn't
nasty
know
one.
that. That's what I wish I would have known about the way into Jerome. That was a big game changer where I was like, oh, holy shit, this is going awry. And it was like having a little low moment into Fane Ranch because we were getting confused about the routing and we all had to gather up in a huge group and figure out what we were doing. And when we got to Fane Ranch, my sister was there and she surprised me and I started weeping and crying and then I felt better. That really was a good pick me up to see her. And I was like, yes, we're going to Mingus Mountain. We're going to ball. It's going to be amazing. And it was great up there. Like we had an awesome time, but I only slept for an hour. And at some point heading down to Jerome, I was like, we're screwed. I've only slept for 2 hours in like 2 days and we gotta turn this stuff around. So yeah, then it was sort of a different race.
So as you're going from Mingus down to, it's not Prescott, it's Jerome. Is that the next? First off, did you play basketball? Did you put the ball?
I made 2 out of 3 shots. I was incredible.
Awesome. I don't know what Rachel did, but that's pretty good. That was Kevin.
And
Kevin
Peter.
Who was doing it? I thought it was Kevin.
Kevin Goldberg and Peter Noyes. And I actually ran with Peter Noyes for a while into Arastra Creek, and it was so fun.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. So you've only had 2 hours sleep as you're going into Jerome. You get to Jerome, and then Danielle's still pacing you, right? And when do you get your next sleep? How close to cutoffs are you at this point?
Not that close.
This is about the halfway point, right? Jerome is like the halfway point.
Yeah. When we got into Jerome, there was a lot going on. My sister was there again, which was so nice. Okay. But I told her, like, we're only staying here for 20 minutes. We got to get a move on. And then she told us that there was the runner who had died. And I was like, I can't believe it. It's tragic. And then at the same time, Rachel was also crossing the finish line while I was in Jerome, more than half from the finish line. And the aid station volunteers were incredible. And they were like showing us their phones. And we're all big fans. We all needed the race report whenever we could get it. 'Cause, like, it was crazy. Yeah. When she finished the race, I was like, it's a new day.
Oh God, I was so excited for her. My friend Joe Harden, he interviewed her and Meg Eckert. He interviewed both of them last fall. I'm like so jealous. So now he's got to interview Courtney and then he'll have the trifecta.
Amazing.
So you're in Jerome as she's crossing the finish line. You're not getting much sleep. How far from Jerome is it to Dead Horse where you meet Elizabeth? And I want to talk about how you meet Elizabeth.
I can't remember if Dead Horse was the next aid station or what, but I think it might have been.
Is it before Sedona, Dead Horse, or is it after
Sedona? Before Sedona, and we had to
it's probably the next aid station then.
I was super prissy going through the river. I got in there, and the guys behind us were like, "How is it?" And I was like, "It's bad. I don't like it." And it was like the water was rushing. I was ill prepared for some of this stuff, but we got to Dead Horse, and Danielle, I was like, Danielle, you are killing yourself. Like, you have done more than any human being should have to do. You're doing the job before people. If you go rest, and then you can, you'll be there to help me later. But she found these Minnesotan volunteers who were there, and Elizabeth had come to pace can I remember her name right now? Another runner who had dropped on day one. So Elizabeth had been ready to pace.
Is Kate still there? Is she running?
I saw Kate at Dead Horse. And
what? Okay. I was going to ask if you two ran together or because she finished, but I think she finished a little bit before you.
She is a much, much stronger runner than I am. She is incredible. So I didn't expect...
you only finished like 2 hours after her.
That's because she actually slept, I think. And no, I respect her so much. She's the benchmark for tough. And I would get excited. I saw her quite a few times, but it was probably after she took a 3-hour nap every time. And I don't even think we had time to talk to each other at Dead Horse. I just know I saw her and that was it. But Danielle said, I found somebody who I think can pace you while I'm resting. Is that okay? And I was like, of course, that's okay. And Elizabeth looked so young. She was like, I think she's in her 20s. She's from Minnesota. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, sure. And Elizabeth comes over and I was like, dude, I know you. I know you from Backyard Ultra. I know exactly who you are. And she was like, and we took off from there. And the first section was like chatting, having a great time, so much in common. But after Deer Pass, I was like trash heading into Sedona, total trash. And she just walked in front of me, and thank goodness.
So when you say trashed, I mean, I can only imagine. Are you having blisters? Is it your stomach? Is it fatigue? Is it lack of sleep? Is it everything? Tell me what trashed looks like at that point.
I was tired, so tired. And like, I'm so proud of my legs. My legs were doing good the whole time. I kept climbing the whole time.
Yeah.
And like physically I was good, but the mentals were bad. I should have probably taken more naps. I should have laid down. I should have done something, but I just kept like slowly trudging. My mood was bad. And I kept thinking I saw the tent. I was like, that's the tent. That must be it. And it was never there. So coming into Sedona, I was like very demoralized. And Elizabeth said, go to sleep here. And I'm going to go. She had to deal with her car. They were both, she and Danielle were both just off the charts incredible. So I had a plan to sleep for 2.5 hours, which was super crucial. And I did do that at Sedona. And
okay. So you weren't super close to the cutoff if you were able to get a 2.5 hour nap.
I had a couple hours, not a ton more than that. So Elizabeth came back in the morning and I like got my act together and we were like, woo, hangover trail, let's do this. And it was, Scott Rokas was out there. Every time I see Scott Rokas, I'm so excited. So I saw him when I was like climbing up the boulders and it was a fun adventure. It was stunning.
Tony and Ben, they had a heck of a time, and Tony was already hallucinating by that point. Did you hallucinate?
It was very
Besides
mild.
Seeing the
it
tent?
Was just like faces and rocks. That was it.
Okay.
Nothing too exciting.
Right. Tony Gillum had the best frickin' hallucinations. You'll have to listen to the podcast, but he saw little green army men, and then, he was giving them high fives, but they were leaving him hanging. It was just crazy stuff. Ben was singing show tunes up Eldon, trying to keep him awake.
Oh, God.
So you get through the hangover trail, and Elizabeth, she ends up pacing you for 44 miles.
So grateful.
That is crazy. And she was just there to volunteer.
Yeah.
And
so many things had to go right for me to get to the finish line, and she was one of the major things.
Wow. So where did she end pacing you at? Munds Park, or where was that?
I think if
she's taking you through the hangover trail, she's going up to, I don't know, what do you call that up on the plateau there?
Schnebly was the place where after that we couldn't have a pacer. But
okay.
So Elizabeth was there with me, and I had already been like after the hangover trail, there's like a gross climb up to a water stop, and I was like, do you think Danielle can drive up here and get us? And she was like, no, I think we're just going to keep going. But we got there. I saw Danielle at Schnebly, and she and Elizabeth were like now teaming up to help me, which was just beyond incredible.
You had a 2-person crew.
It was just amazing. And then
your husband and kids, he's here because he's got to watch the kids, right? Kids aren't taking a week off to come down to watch mom.
He ran the show.
All right. He's a saint.
Yeah.
So now Danielle and Elizabeth are a team.
Yes.
But you can't have pacers for, I don't know how many sections it is there.
It's just like one section into Munns, and it was a really nice section.
Yeah.
And I should have done better there, but I was getting tired and I couldn't figure out what to do about it. Like I sat down for a second and I was like, what am I doing? And I got up and there were like bugs on the ground and I wasn't going to lay down. It was just a no. So I had to keep moving. I ran into this other amazing runner named Shanna Bodenbra, and Rodenbaugh. That's her last name. We were together, so nice to have some chats with somebody. Like we had a lovely chat coming into Munns Park, and then at Munns Park, I fell apart after my nap, and I was having a hissy fit. Got into Danielle's car, and I was crying, and I was like, "Oh yeah, go! It's at the end."
Wait a minute. So you have a nap, you wake up, and you have a hissy fit, and you're done. What's going on?
I don't know. I was a little too cold or something, and I didn't feel good. And I wouldn't want to eat anything. It was like totally a problem. And then she said something to me like, your daughter says to you that when you get cold, you need to run. And I was like, damn it. And I was like, you're right. I'll put my shoes on. And we kept going. But like, she had to pull out the daughter card to get me to keep going.
Wow. But she saved that one for, emergencies. So she's pacing you again at this point.
Yes. We left Munns Park. I was able to reanimate. As I charted this, I could see that it was a lot of like high, low.
So I got to ask a question. I mean, we're at Munns Park. What is that? Almost 200 miles in, right?
Yeah,
getting
190.
Close. You start out pretty quick. You're getting a 2.5 hour naps in. You're not chasing the cutoff. At some point, you start chasing the cutoff. Some point, Suzy, everybody but Wayne passes you. Is that what's happening here? You're going slower and slower, and people are passing you. When do you start going, I'm not going to make the cutoff? When is that first a thought for you? Or is it never a thought?
It's coming.
Okay. All right. Tell the story.
She got me to Kelly Canyon, and we couldn't have a pacer into Fort Todd Hill, but that I was feeling pretty happy, and I was able to do that. I rolled into Fort Todd Hill feeling like a G. I was like, look at this place. This is amazing. And then I loved the vibes in there, and Danielle and Elizabeth were both there, and they were like taking care of me like I was a race car. And I think this is the point where I was like, all right, we're 210 miles in. We got to do this. I got to get my my mental fitness check. I was really excited about getting the mental fitness check at Fort Todd Hill.
Excited about it. Okay.
Yes. What day is it? I was like, it's Friday. Where are you going? And I said, Walnut something. And they were like, okay.
Good enough.
And I was in good spirits. But that section into Walnut Canyon is really long. So the last couple miles, oh my God. There was this lady out there, and she was somebody's pacer, but she had to let her runner go because she was slowing down her runner. But yet I couldn't keep up with her. And that really put me in a bad mood. I was like, look, this lady had to turn her runner loose, and I can't even keep up with her. What is happening?
Her runner dropped her, and she's dropping me.
That was putting me in a bad mood.
Wow. Okay.
And I was having a panic attack, like getting into, I guess, I was having a panic attack that I wouldn't be able to make it to Wildcat Hill in time. And Danielle was like, you're okay, you're fine, you made it here. But eventually I was having such a fit that she pushed me out of the aid station like an hour before the cutoff. So I still she was like, just go then, go. I'll see you at Wildcat Hill. At
this point, you're only an hour from cutoff, that's scary, when you've still got, you still got to get up and over Eldon after that, right? Yeah.
There's a lot of we were obsessing about the pace, and she's like, I can tell you what pace you need to do. And I was like, it doesn't matter. And I was fairly hysterical. She was a saint. She kept putting tape on my feet. Like I had blisters. Yeah. And I know that they were bad. I know that now. But at the time I was like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Whatever. We just keep going. And made it to Wildcat Hill. I was pretty excited, but I didn't know what I was about to do. And
Wildcat is the one right before you go up over Eldon?
Mm-hmm. Okay. We kept saying I was going to take a nap, but I never.
And there's no pacers on that section, correct?
Right.
Last year there was.
Right. And there's some years you're going up the steep technical thing and then down the smoother thing.
I hear it's worse the way they switched it last year. I hear it's worse this way. Tell me about that journey. So you're like an hour from cutoff. You leave, not feeling great.
I think I was only leaving like 20 or 15 minutes ahead of the cutoff from Wildcat Hill. So it was like.
Is it nighttime? It must be the middle of the night.
It was nighttime.
Okay.
It was scary. I should have hung on to people but I kind of started up the mountain alone. And eventually I caught up with this amazing group of people that was Missy, Greg, and Ashley. And
Okay.
Missy is an animal. She was such a boss. She was looking out for us. And
Yeah.
I was so scared, and it was just, the mountain was huge. And my legs were working great. I was like, I can't believe how I'm just climbing this mountain right now. It's amazing. But I was falling asleep. It was just seemed so crazy. And we were taking naps on the side of the mountain. It was the first time I laid down on the ground
On the way
the
up.
entire time. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I lost track of time, and I wasn't really thinking about finishing the race. I was just thinking about like living through this experience.
Just surviving. Yeah.
And at one point we got to sort of what seemed like, I knew where we were going. I could see the top, but I kept saying, are we at the top? Like, we're not going over that must be something else. I just couldn't understand how far up we were going. But finally we got there. Oh, and my light went out and they helped me. Like, it was so amazing.
Is there still an aid station now at the top? Even though at the top of Eldon, is there an aid station up there?
There was a truck up there.
Okay.
I don't know what it was doing up there, and I was out of sorts when we got there.
Okay.
But there was just like one moment where we were trying to figure out how to get to the peak and then to the descent. Like, we weren't sure which way to go. And I took out my phone, and Missy and Ashley and I all looked at it, and we put our three heads together and we figured out what to do.
And Missy's done this before, right?
Yeah, but in the other direction. So at the top of Mount Eldon, the sun came up like, and the light, it was, I've never seen anything like it before. It was like 1 second after the sun rises, it's a whole different landscape. Wow. And everybody was just kind of chilling for a second. And I was like, are we going down? Should we go? And people were like taking care of what they needed to do. So I just took off. I was like, you got to get down here. And this was after a lot of praying, like, please, God, please get me off this mountain. Please, please get me off this mountain. And there was nowhere to go but through. So we had to start the descent. And it was so many switchbacks, so technical. And everybody...
You're like crawling down rocks. It's like, you know, the section on Zumbro, like 3/4 of the way through, where you're coming down and then you go up that gnarly. Is it like that? Just these gnarly rocks you have to crawl over? Or is it worse?
Bigger. It was like nothing. I don't know. It was wild. God. Just, you know, you could get a few quick steps in, but then it was like I had to sit down on my butt and scooch down these things, and everybody was kind of around, so I didn't really feel like everybody was passing me. But eventually they got away, and I lost track of time, and I didn't realize there were 2 more miles of trail after you get to the bottom. But I was like, I must be fine. Everybody was just here. And Danielle called me and was like, you got to move a little faster.
She's watching your little...
She's watching it. She's like, I'm talking to somebody at the finish line, and he's telling me that he knows. And I wish I need to remember this guy's name, but because he told her to call me. And if she hadn't called me, I don't know if I would have gotten there.
Are you seeing the sweeps behind you? Are they coming behind you?
Mm-mm. No. Not that they might have been. I didn't know what they were, but
when Ben Mead did it in 2024, he ended up like helping a runner who got injured, and so then he was chasing cutoffs, and eventually, you know, they actually because he waited like 6 hours for this guy to get medical help, they actually transported him and gave him a lift to one of the aid stations so he could finish the race. But for a good portion of it, he was like, the sweeps were right behind him, and they literally would like get up to him and they'd be like, okay, we're going to give you a little space. But you never saw him, huh?
If I saw them, I didn't know who they were. Okay. I can't say for sure, but
so you're by yourself when you get to the bottom of Eldon. You got 2 miles of trail left. Danielle calls you and says, you need to move.
Yeah. And I wish I had been calm in that moment and just been like, okay, Danielle, I'm going to pick up the pace. But I was freaking out. I was freaking out. I was running and hyperventilating. And I was like, I'm off course. I don't see a flag. I can't do it, Danielle. And it was a low moment for sure. And she was, even afterwards, she was like, you needed to calm down. Like everything was fine. I just needed you to move a little faster. And I can understand that now, but in the moment it was not. Whatever. I made it. I think I might have had 15 minutes. I might have only had 8 minutes. I can't remember, but definitely had a tantrum when I got there, laid down on the ground. Finally, I peeled off my hot layers and I tucked away some stuff in my backpack, and I had to keep going then.
So, and that's the last aid station before the finish. And at that point, you said you're how many minutes ahead of cutoff? Just barely?
Yeah, I think I left there with, like 5 or so minutes to spare, but it was okay because they give you so much time. They want you to finish. There was like an hour and 45 minutes to do the last 4 miles. So when I didn't miss the cutoff at what's it called? At Trinity Heights, when I made the cutoff at Trinity Heights, I knew I was going to be okay.
You knew you're going to be okay. Did you ever see Wayne, the guy that was he behind you? He must have been.
He was at
ways
Trinity Heights
you, but not
when I got there, and I think he'd been resting.
Oh, because he had that lean, and he's talked about this. He's been on Instagram, and I actually reached out to him and said, hey, I do this podcast about people that chase cutoffs, but I'm sure he's getting bombarded with requests. But so he was there probably getting some medical treatment, and you left and he was still there, huh?
We left at the same time. He was
okay.
And I said, what's your name? And it's Wayne. I was like, okay, come on, Wayne, let's go. And I think it was his brother was with him.
Okay.
There was a lot of, I yelled at his brother. You yelled
at his brother? Why'd you yell at his brother?
No, his brother was being so harsh. And
What?
I can't.
Tough. His brother was doing some tough love.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's their vibe, and that was totally okay. But I was also like a lunatic in that moment. And I feel I yelled at some people, but,
these things are okay. These are not normal things. People need to understand. And I know there was a lot of hubbub on the internet and Instagram when they posted the videos of Wayne, and people were like, how the hell do you let people do this? And it's like, guys, this is not for everybody. And it's not normal things that happen when you do these things. And it's not for everybody. So you're probably forgiven. I'm sure you're fine.
I hope. I took off running. I don't know why. I had like one final burst of energy, and I took off running until I got to an uphill. And then I was like, now we're walking and it's fine. And I'm just going to enjoy this.
I wrote, one of my questions was, when was the last time you ran? And so you actually ran after Trinity Heights or Trinity.
Just for a small burst of energy, a couple tenths of a mile.
It's all right. All right. Is there fans along the course? At what point do you start seeing fans?
Yeah, there were people
like cheering you. At what point?
Right away.
Really?
Because you maybe like after a mile or so. But there were people just situated around and other runners, and it started getting really exciting.
Yeah.
And I think
that's when you thought, I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it done. But you don't know that you're the last finisher.
Yeah, I didn't.
Or did you know?
It occurred to me that like Missy and Greg and Ashley were all ahead of me now. But I saw Robbie. That was really exciting.
I was going to say, did you see Robbie? I wrote him down. He didn't finish last year, but he was DFL. When was he DFL? Like in 2024, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So I saw Robbie. We he and I weren't going to duke it out to the finish line or anything. We were just walking along, and I was so happy to see him. I put my arm around him, and his wife said to him in like the sweetest, kindest voice. I think it was his wife. She was like, babe, can you just walk a little faster? Can you just walk a little faster? And I was like, go ahead. And I just was doing my race, my pace at that point. I got to Danielle, and she'd gotten special permission from Steve to bring me my hat and my sunglasses that I really wanted for the finish line, my superior hat. And
I wrote that down. I said, did you have a Rocksteady hat on? You had your Superior hat on. Okay.
yeah, because that's me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part. I must have had some inkling that maybe I would finish. Otherwise, I wouldn't have planned on wearing that hat at the finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So she runs you in, Danielle runs you into the finish. As you're crossing the finish line, are they telling you you're the last finisher or?
No, we thought Wayne was coming in for sure before the cutoff. So I was
Okay.
very happy that I made it. I saw Kate. I saw Elizabeth. I was with Danielle. I was like delighted. I saw Rachel.
Kate was there. Was she there waiting for you? Awesome. Awesome. And Elizabeth was there too.
Elizabeth
And
was handing out
then
medals at the finish line. She'd been volunteering. She had been pacing me and volunteering her ass off.
I got to meet Elizabeth at some point. Just sounds
She's a
amazing.
great person. And
Yeah.
so we were waiting for Wayne to come in because like there was one more finisher coming. And there was this like beautiful, amazing bakery right there. And I was like, Daniela, I need a milkshake. Let's go. So we went in there and I got my milkshake. I'm like happy as a clam. I'm like cooling off for a second before Wayne comes in. Like I wanted to be out there for the spirit tunnel. But
Yep.
Danielle said, I'm just going to go out there and see what's going on. And I was like literally the only soul. Everybody on earth was outside. And I was just like drinking my milkshake, being delighted. It was so, because my mouth hurt and this felt so good.
Yeah.
Like my mouth had drama. And
Yeah.
then the time was going longer and I just felt that I couldn't go out there and I didn't even watch it until days later.
Yeah.
So I stayed away until he'd already been taken to medical.
Yeah.
It was so heavy.
Yeah. So you finished, for my audience, in case you're living in Iraq. Suzy finished with 23 minutes left on the clock. Isn't that crazy? 125 hours, Suzy, and you only had 23 minutes left. That is nuts. And Wayne, bless his heart, came in 1 minute and a half past the cutoff. I don't remember who I was telling. I'm like, they should do like they did for my buddy, first finisher after the cutoff. And he's the last person to finish it. No one came and finished it after him, as far as I knew. He was the last one.
Yep.
And it's kind of nice on Ultra Sign Up. It says unofficial finisher. So,
Okay.
yeah. So when did Rachel Entrekin come up to you? Right when you crossed the line, or was it?
I think I saw Rachel right when I finished.
That video that's on Instagram, you're not on Instagram, but that's the only video I can find of you on Instagram is you're crossing the line and Robbie is there, Andre Lee, who was like, I think the original DFL in 2021. Yeah. And you are there. And then Rachel comes up and you guys are bowing to each other. What was that like to meet her? Were you
For
just
real.
like,
I'd already talked
surreal?
to her at the start line because I was accosting everybody. She was standing there with Max Jolliffe. It was the day before. And I was like, hey, guys, can I get a picture? I never thought I would see her again, but I did.
Was she super nice? She just seems so
incredibly nice and gives amazing hugs.
She just, can we get any luckier in our sport to have these people like Courtney and Rachel and even Jim Walmsley? My buddy Eric has met him, and Tony Gillum met Jim last year at Cocodona. And just like these people are they're just nice. They're just down to earth. I guess Rachel stayed in the tent with Wayne for quite a while and, talked to him a little bit. So it's so sweet. Yeah.
We were going to go in and see him, but it was like a crowd.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to overwhelm him. So eventually we went, but it had everything.
Yeah. Did you, did you cry when you crossed the finish line? Are you a crier?
Yes.
No? But you didn't cry. You were just probably too tired and exhausted to cry.
No, I was thrilled. I was happy.
And DFL, have you ever been DFL
But I've asked so many times when I've crossed the finish line of things, am I last? Was I last?
I do that. I just assume I'm last. I usually am on the podium. If I'm not, last, I'm pretty close. That is amazing. So you get done, go home. You've now got a new friend in Elizabeth. I imagine you guys stay in contact, right?
Yep. We're going to
You
do a
made
panel at Gear West on.
I saw that.
Well,
I'm
I
going to
didn't
have a
even see
link.
it yet.
It is. They posted something, Suzy, on Instagram.
Okay.
And I didn't know who they were, but I saw your name and I was like, oh, hey, I know her. I'm interviewing her. I don't know if I can go or not. It's on the 31st, but if I can make it, I'll be out there. And so it's going to be you, Elizabeth. I wrote down a name, Jeff Luerke. I don't know who he is. He pays somebody. Kate. I think he paced Kate.
I think
right?
Kate was paced by several people and her coach, a different Jeff.
Okay.
And this second Jeff might have paced Neil, the other finisher from Minnesota.
Okay. All right. They weren't. So Kate finished a couple hours before you, but these other people must have finished much earlier.
Neil, yeah, I think Neil finished before Kate and Kate finished before
Damn
me.
elites. Come on. It's just so, I think it's so crazy to go, what is it, 254 miles this year, take 125 hours, and it comes down to 23 minutes for you and a minute and a half on the wrong side for Wayne. It's just absolutely nuts. It's bonkers.
With the tragedy and like the epic struggle in this, and I feel so lucky because if you just look at my little story, it was like a fairy tale.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, everybody's got a story like this. Everyone has, just the most adventurous story like this. So my first question to you now is, are you doing it again?
No. It was
done.
Did you hear Dan Green talking about what Francois Den said to him about why would you do it again if you felt really happy with it?
I did not, but that makes sense.
The weather was so perfect.
Yeah.
And the miracle of this, like Danielle being so superhuman and then also meeting Elizabeth and being with this group on the mountain when I could have easily laid down and waited for the sunlight. But it's so many things had to go right.
Yep.
And I haven't even finished a 100-miler yet.
You can tell people will be like, have you ever run a 100-miler? No, I haven't. I've done over 250, but not a 100-miler.
I would recommend it to anyone. And I would feel selfish taking away somebody else's spot for next year. Somebody else should get to go do this. I had my day and it was incredible.
Would you crew or pay somebody down there? And that's what I've heard too. And I was looking forward to that this year. I was going to volunteer and crew and pace for Ben, but I wouldn't run it, but I would like to experience it because I hear the experience. It's just otherworldly. It's just a wonderful experience.
Arizona's so beautiful. It was, you can't even describe it. It was amazing.
Awesome. So, recovery, did that take a while? I see on Strava, you're back to doing some little runs.
Yep.
Did you
take
a week off?
My feet took the brunt of everything. My body wasn't sore at all. Like I thought I would be like, oh, my legs and my abs and everything, but actually it was just my feet. So owie. And then also blisters. So it was like the combo of just like general foot pain and then just like unspeakable grossness that I've been dealing with. And my feet are just regenerating and growing all new skin.
I interviewed Dr. Tanya Olson. I don't know if you've heard of her. She does all the, she runs the foot aid station at Western States. And she wrote the book, How to Fix Your Feet.
Yes,
she co-wrote the book.
Talks about that book.
Yeah, she's become a friend. She's from Minneapolis originally, and her and I think that we ran into each other in the 90s at Bunker's Bar here in Minneapolis. We're convinced of it because we both hung out there at the same time. But she talks a lot about, all these different products. Obviously you said you taped it. Did you use like salty britches? What did you do?
I was trying to pay really close attention to what happened, like at Zumbro. I was like, am I getting blisters in this 50-mile race? And I didn't. And so I didn't want to mess with it. And I really didn't get blisters until I think the first time I let somebody put tape on my feet was at Camp Kippa. So it was somewhere around 50, 60 miles.
Yeah.
And that was weird. I've never done that before. But I was like, kind sir, can you please tape my gross feet? And there were just so many nice people who did that for me. Incredibly nice people. It was sort of like I would get them looked at every other aid station or so. Yeah. And they would retape. But I didn't think it was so bad, but it was bad.
She tells stories sometimes of just some nasty, just you can't even imagine the feat she's seen. But she's always tells these stories about like when she fixes it and gets it all taped, she's like, you do not take this off for 3 days. When the race is done, you don't take it off. You don't shower. She's like, this needs to stay on. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. I'm doing my first 24-hour race in June. I'm doing Fans Ultra.
Fans. That's amazing.
Yeah. Mario and I are doing 24 hours. He's probably going to hit 100 miles. My goal, slow AF at me, I'm going to try to do 100 kilometers. I think I can do that. And I'm actually going to push the first 50K and try to get that done. The fastest I've ever done 50K is 8 hours. I'm going to try to get under 8. And then I'm just going to take it easy. And I'm going to take some naps because there's no cutoff. And I've got family coming out. Jason Reeve is going to come out middle of the night and pace us. I've got a sister coming out, and I'm just going to kind of have fun and just relax. But I'm worried about my feet. Suzy, I'm like, that's a long time to be on your feet. So I'm going to do salty britches and probably tape and just do that before as kind of preventative and see how I do. But
I think you know your feet best. Whatever your gut is telling you to do, just definitely do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm taking a lot of your time, so I've got some questions here. I want to make sure I ask you everything about Cocodona 250. Not going to do it again, probably, at least not next year, but you'd go back and crew. So what's next for you? And I've got your Ultra sign up so I can see what's on the docket, but tell my listeners what's next for you for 2026.
I must get my 5th finish at Afton 50K.
Of course you do.
I must get that. I went through a moment where I was like, I don't need to register for this race again. And then a day later, I was like, of course I do. I must. You do. And yeah. John Storkamp is so nice. I wrote him an email the other day just reminding him that he was somebody who told me after my first Afton, he said, you look like you've got more gas in the tank. And that was really like a pivotal moment in my life where I was like, yes, I should do something longer than this. I should. And then it all happened.
You're going to be a celebrity now when you go out there. You're probably going to have to do multiple interviews. And yeah.
Then I've got Voyager 50, which is a real piece of work.
That
gets me.
Okay. Heather and I were talking a little bit about that last night. That's on the Superior Hiking Trail. Is it the same trail that the Wild Duluth is on? Or what trail is Voyager on?
The Voyager 50 isn't 100% on the Superior Hiking Trail, but it does go from Carlton to Duluth and back. It just doesn't utilize all the same trails. So that was my A race a couple of years ago. I was like, God, if I can't finish Voyager 50, I thought about that race every day for a year. And then I finished that race and it felt great. Thought it was going to be smooth sailing. Then 2 years ago, it was so hot and I didn't know enough about heat mitigation and I wasn't able to finish. So I've got 2 DNFs and 1 finish, and I would like to even the score this summer.
Those races are 3 weeks apart. You know that, right?
It's a build.
Okay.
And then I'm very nervous about Duluth 100K. I don't know if I can make those cutoffs. We'll see.
I think I will be there.
Yay.
So Eric is running the 50K, Wild Duluth 50K. Heather is doing the Wild Woman So it's the 50K and the half marathon the next day.
Awesome.
I've already put it on the calendar for my wife. I said I'm going up there probably like Friday night and come home Saturday night or something. But I'll be up there, so I will cheer for you and wave you on. You're worried about it, huh? Are the cutoffs pretty tight? What do you get to do? What's the total cutoff for 100K? How many hours?
I just looked at this the other day because I was starting to obsess about it. I think you have till midnight and the race starts at, I think you have 18 hours.
That's tight for a not flat race. What's your elevation gain? It's probably 6,000.
I haven't looked.
7,000.
It's gonna be something. But I must do it.
All you ever have to do is go, I finished Cocodona 250 and my daughter thinks I need to run faster. just pull out the card and say, my daughter that says I have to run faster. So that's.
And then I'll put in for the lottery for Superior 100 because Superior 100 is my dream.
Okay. So let's go down my list here. My next question, what's your dream race? You just said it. Is that your dream race, Superior 100?
Yes. And then it did occur to me, this is a pipe dream race, but it occurred to me that I now have a Western States qualifier.
Yes, you do.
I could cry right now just saying that. It's insane.
Yes, you do. Neeraj got in on his third try, I think. So yeah, you got your qualifier, and next year when you do and complete Superior 100, you'll have another qualifier. So yeah, you're set.
I'm ready for another project, I guess.
Got it. Does your husband, kids, they don't do any trail running, right?
My children run with me, and I love them.
Do they?
They are amazing. My little son is all over my Strava, and my daughter too. But
awesome.
Yeah, we have a good time.
That's great. Do you have any pets? Like I said, we don't have kids. We have dogs. So I'm always curious to know if people have dogs or cats or pets.
We had one dog and I love her. She left us a while ago, and that kind of broke my heart. Like I don't think I can go through it again, honestly.
I have, yeah. He's my soulmate was Ricky. We lost him last June, and I still cry quite often about him. He was just my soulmate. And we adopted another guy that I absolutely love too. It's just, like I said, we love dogs.
Elizabeth talked about her dogs the same way you are, whereas like there was one dog that really had her heart. And
yeah,
my dog's ashes are in a little box, and I keep it on top of my trail running things so that every time I have to go into my boxes, I hold her ashes and I like have a moment.
I got he's got its fur. I've got his fur in this necklace that I wear every day. Favorite TV show? Just a random question. What's your favorite TV show?
If we're talking about all time, I would have to say 6 Feet Under from the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
That show really changed me.
Got it. How about a little bit more modern? What's your most recent favorite TV show?
We just watched all of Big Bang Theory and then all of Young Sheldon and then on to Georgie and Mandy. Like we did the whole thing. So that was pretty fun. I think my kids know too much about sex now, unfortunately, because I didn't realize how every joke in that show is a sex joke. But,
well, like every show. What is, do you have a hobby you like to do that is not related to running 250-mile races?
It's really, my job is my hobby. I love my job. I teach kids how to chant Torah for their bar and bat mitzvahs.
Oh, so, God, I love it.
I love it. So I would say like doing little Hebrew stuff and getting organized for that is, I would probably do that if it wasn't my job. So it's great.
So if you've listened to, I don't know if you got all the way through the Amber episode, but my signature is the last thing on my podcast I ask my guests is 5 favorite pieces of gear that you have to have when you do a trail run. And this can be exactly 5 things that you use for Cocodona, or it can be what you do in your training runs. Give me your 5 favorite pieces of gear, Suzy.
Okay. I was very into my Nike Zegama 2s. Love those a lot. They just changed to ACG, and I got a new pair that I'm going to start wearing. So that's important. I love those shoes.
Okay.
What else? My Anchor AirPods. Those took me all the way through Cocodona. They were like magical. I barely had to charge them and they lasted for 5 days. I don't know what was going on there, but I like my basic Old Navy sports bra and shorts combos.
Heather last night, she goes, "You're going to laugh, but it's my Old Navy shorts." She absolutely, it's the only thing she'll wear. Love it. That's 3.
The Solomon 15-liter pack. I mean, obviously, I don't know when I'm going to use that again, but it was very satisfactory. It felt so luxe compared to like my Amazon vest that I've been using forever. I was like, God, this is legit. This thing feels incredible.
And did you have the quiver for the poles and stuff? Yeah.
Yes, and I had to listen to Andy Glaze's instructions on how to connect it with zip ties because there aren't good connection points from the 15-liter vest. Doesn't like have the hooks in the right space.
Oh, okay. I also did a video on how to make that quiver work with any vest. I show how to sew on the little things. Mandy Hansel, she actually, I've got a little YouTube channel. That video, a lot of my videos have, 600, maybe 1,000 views. That one has 8,000 views. People all over the world are like, thank you. And it's really a simple solution.
All right, well, you're about to get one more view because that would be great to not have to use zip ties. That was a lot of obsessing.
That's funny. So do we have one more? Is that 4?
The Lecky poles are you can't beat those. They were amazing.
You cannot beat. I'm a believer now. I got them last year and I just bought them for my wife. She's coming out. We're doing Mammoth Trail Fest. She's going to do the 26K. Woohoo. And so she's been working on her treadmill, on her inclines. And for Mother's Day, our 2 dogs bought her a set of Lecky poles. So now we're going to go. I told her we're going to go to Highland and I'm going to show her how to use them. So, hey, you know what I forgot at the beginning? We got so excited. I usually start these things with an icebreaker. So we're going to go backwards in time.
Okay.
We're going to finish this podcast with my normal icebreaker. 2 questions. 1, give me one word that describes you as a person.
Excited.
Love it.
I'm super excited. I probably jump up and down at least once a day.
That makes so much sense. I love it. And now, one word that describes you as Suzy the runner.
I was going to say crazy, but Amber said that, and that made me laugh. And then, so I'm gonna give you my my alter ego, UltraSuzy.
UltraSuzy.
That's my one word.
Nice. Got it. I love it. This has been absolutely delightful. I'm surprised you haven't done more of these already. I mean, this is so fun. So I'm going to, So I'm going to see you probably at some place.
Sure.
Duluth, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to be out at Afton. God, I don't. You love that race. I just hate it.
Oh, it's beautiful along the St. Croix. We have to.
I go out there and run all the time. I love going out there and running, and I've made several videos. Little trail running videos out there, but I went running out there with Troy Meadows. Do you know Troy Meadows from the Midpacker Pod, part of the Free Trail Podcast Network?
No way. That's cool.
Yeah. I love that area. I just don't like that race. It's too hot, but I might volunteer. So I might see you out there. If not, Wild Duluth.
All right.
I'll see you in Wild Duluth. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As somebody who listens to so many podcasts, it's a real dream come true to get to do this. So thank you.
Wow. It's a dream to have you on. I can't wait for everybody to hear this. All right. Take care.
You too.
UltraSuzy. What a pleasure to meet you. What a thrilling conversation. And hey, way to represent the great state of Minnesota at the 2026 Cocodona 250. I look forward to following your trail running adventures in the future. And hey, Suzy's not on Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff, so don't expect any links in the show notes. Oh, she is on Strava, so I may include a link to that so you can track her training as she's on the stair climber setting records watching Heated Rivalry. Oh, and maybe a link to FKTs too. And as always, show the show a little love, Ratings, reviews, and follows are always appreciated. Well, that's it once again. Until the next episode, cheers, and please take care of yourselves. Keep running, keep walking, keep moving forward. It might be 2 steps or 2 miles or 250 miles. You'll get there. I can't promise Rachel Entrekin will be there to greet you, but you will cross that finish line.